My name is Lawrence Ray, and I'm your assigned Aflac associate for Casino Job Center. It's currently your Aflac open enrollment, which basically means it's the only time of year where you can add on any of the available coverages through Aflac. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of the different policies and services that are available to you through CJC. And you should have received a link to this landing page. Now, the purpose of the landing page is really to give you access to all of the brochures and rates that relate to all of the corresponding policies. And to get enrolled in any of these plans, you simply have to do that with me over the phone. So I can just send you the applications to your phone to sign electronically, but I do need to take your information over the phone to send it to you. So you can schedule a time with me by clicking the scheduling link here, or if you would prefer, you can even just text me. My telephone number is 702-358-6609. So if you just text me a couple of available times, I'll respond accordingly. I know that you have very busy schedules there. So before I run into the Aflac benefits specifically, I do want to make everyone aware of the free telemedicine service that's available through MeMD. So MeMD is a partner company that offers a standalone telemedicine service, and any of Aflac's clients can actually access this and enroll in this for free. Now, there is a $25 copay if you do speak to the doctor, but the enrollment itself is completely free. So to give you an example of how this has helped me, my daughter was in New Mexico and she had pink eye, and my own insurance wouldn't actually cover it because it was a non-emergency out of state. So I simply called MeMD, and for $25, they had a prescription sent there in about 20 minutes. So this could be a really useful service. You know, maybe you have a couple of sick kids at home, and you need a prescription for something. This will avoid you sitting in a waiting room for half of the morning where you could have just FaceTimed the doctor for $25. So just to reiterate, the $25 is only charged if you use the service, okay? So this isn't automatically added. I do need to add this onto the system. So simply schedule a time with me. I'll get your information in, and then this will go in effect on January 1st. And you do not need to purchase any Aflac products to take advantage of this, okay? So just throw that out there. So the Aflac product specifically, it's also a very easy sign-up process. I don't take any banking information. There's no medical exams. I simply sign you up for whatever you're interested in, and it comes out of your paycheck on a payroll deduction, the first pay period in January, okay? So any of these plans you get access to at a group rate. The rates never go up in price, even if you put in claims. And you can take them with you if you ever leave CJC or the company that you're working for at exactly the same rate that you lock them in for. So what is Aflac? Well, what we are is we are a supplemental insurance company. And what we are really designed to do is help you cover for the things that your health insurance doesn't cover for. So statistically, most of the bankruptcies in the US are because of some kind of accident or a sickness, a medically related event. But what's so scary is that most of the country has some kind of health insurance in place already. And it's because the best health insurance doesn't give you money to cover your own expenses. So if something happens, typically we have co-pays and deductibles. So already we have to come out of pocket. But more importantly, we all have daily living expenses. So we have bills, rent, mortgage, car payments, putting food on the table to feed the family. And like I said, the best health insurance in the country doesn't give you money to cover those expenses. So our plans are going to pay cash directly to you if something happens. And what you do with the money you receive back from Aflac is really completely up to you. So we have a number of different policies that I'm going to discuss. And you can access the brochures for each one of these policies within the View All Materials tab. There's a rate sheet as well underneath that's also attached. And the first one I'm going to talk about here is our accident policy. So the accident policy, it covers you for accidents. So any kind of injury. And the way you can think of this plan, it's like a get hurt doing anything plan. So it's going to cover you on the job, off the job, 24 hours a day for any kind of injury. An injury could be as small as your bare foot and stub your toe, you cut your hand cooking, all the way up to a major catastrophic car accident, hiking accident. And basically, the worse your accident is, the more money that you're going to receive back from Aflac. So if you open a brochure, you go to the fourth page, I'll just touch on some of the payouts. So for example, if you get confined into hospital, we pay $1,000 for the confinement, $250 a day every day you're in hospital. ICU, we double that to $2,000, you get $650 a day. Now, the policy is designed to cover you throughout every single stage of an accident. So you get money back towards x-rays, appliances, physical therapy, follow-up visits, daily hospitalization, even things like transportation and lodging. So, there's always unforeseen costs with any kind of accident. This would reimburse you up to $600 for a round trip in transportation, $125 a night for a hotel. Now, the injuries have specific payouts as well, anywhere from $35 for something small up to $12,500 on the more severe side. But you get paid on multiple injuries. So let's say you fall off a ladder at home, you break your arm or your leg in the same accident. Both of those would actually have an associated cost. Now, what I really love about this plan is that you don't have to miss work to get paid under it. So you could twist your ankle on a Saturday, something small, you go to a quick care, you get back to work by Monday. Even if you don't miss any work whatsoever, we're still going to pay your claim in exactly the same way. You simply just collect the documentation from the doctor, submit it to Aflac, and they're going to reimburse you back based on this fee schedule. The other side of that, one of my clients was in a serious motorcycle accident. He received close to $12,000 and he was in the hospital for about 2 weeks. So there's really no limit on the overall amount a claim can pay. And like I said, the price never changes even if you do put in claims. The policy comes with a death benefit included, so $50,000 gets paid to a beneficiary of your choice if you were to pass in an accident only. And you also get a wellness attached on this policy too. So I don't know if anyone is watching that has existing coverage, but every year you get $90 back for seeing a doctor, an eye doctor, or a dentist for a general exam, okay? So with this policy, you can insure you and a spouse, you and your children, or you and your whole family for full family coverage. So if you insure one child, you insure all of them at one price, and they're all going to be covered actually up to the age of 26 years old. So to give you an example, the rates, I'll just flash them on the screen, but you can download these directly. It's basically going to average about $6 a week on an individual basis. So yeah, you're looking at $13.68 bi-weekly on an individual level. And then you see all the other corresponding rates attached here, basically $25 to cover your whole family on an accident plan, you, a spouse, all kids up to the age of 26. So that was the accident policy. The next one I'm going to run into is short-term disability. So you're all W-2s, which means that you have workers' compensation. The problem is we have over 80% of disabilities that happen outside of your employment. So that could really be any accident or sickness or even maternity leave. If you're planning on having children, I would strongly encourage you to lock in this plan that prevents you going to work that's off the job, essentially. So the way that it works, and there's a few factors that go into pricing this, I'll just kind of explain the general concept, I guess. But let's say you earn $40,000 a year. So legally in the state of Nevada, we can cover up to 60% of your gross income. So if you earn $40,000 a year, we could protect about $2,000 of your paycheck every month. And the basic idea is that that $2,000 would get prorated at the time of a claim. So let's say you're in an accident on the way home, you can't work for 2 months. We'd pay you $4,000 back if you had a $2,000 monthly benefit. So that's a general idea. I mean, we cover you for 3, 6, 12, 18, up to 24-month benefit periods. But a lot of people just get a 3-month or a 6-month because it resets after every condition. So let's say you're out for 3 months because you have an accident. You have another accident, you get another 3 months of coverage for that new event as well. So a couple of limitations I'm going to mention. It is guaranteed issue, so we will guarantee to insure you regardless of any health problems. But some pre-existing conditions aren't covered for a year, and also maternity leave. The birth of the child has to be 10 months from the effective date of coverage. So essentially, if you lock this in for January 1st, as long as the baby's born after October 1st of 2025, that maternity leave would be covered. But again, if you have any specific questions on that, please reach out and I will go through everything with you in a bit more detail. Just text me your gross income. That's the main thing that I do need to quote disability, your age and your gross annual income. But like I said, just send me a text, let me know what you're interested in, and I'll let you know what I need to do a more specific quote. So we also have some catastrophic type of coverage. So I'm going to touch on this cancer plan. The cancer policy is one of the most financially devastating diseases that anyone can go through. Even if you have the best health insurance in the country, it can financially ruin a family. You know, the long-term consequences, you know, the co-pays, deductibles, the stress it puts on the family, the chemo, the radiation. So what this policy does is it follows you at every single stage of a cancer diagnosis. From the day you are diagnosed, it pays a lump sum upon diagnosis of an internal cancer. There are some benefits in it for skin cancers too, and it follows throughout every stage. So you get money back towards radiation, chemotherapy, experimental treatments, daily hospitalization, things like transportation, things like lodging. The treatment here in Nevada can be quite poor. So if you're advised to go out and stay for treatment, you do get reimbursements back towards that. The initial lump sum does grow in value every single year. You don't use it as well by $500. So it does increase in value. Statistically, half of the men in the US and 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with some form of cancer at some point in their lives. And so much of this now is environmental. So I strongly recommend this policy if you can. Even if you don't have like a family history of it in the family, cancer just really doesn't discriminate. So the other great thing about this plan is that it comes with a wellness attached. So you get $75 back every year for a screening for cancer. And that could be like your annual blood work, mammograms, pap smears, chest x-ray. There's a long list of cancer screenings that you can also get back under the policy. So I'm not going to go into the rates on each one of the policies, but I'll show the rate on this one quickly. Hold on. So Aflac does insure kids for free with this plan, by the way. But the rate under this cancer plan here is $18.21 on an individual basis. And it would be $33 essentially for you and a spouse, which basically would cover the whole family, all the kids up to the age of 26. So that was a cancer plan. Then we also have a critical illness policy. So I do really want to explain this one because Aflac has just upgraded this plan massively. And they've almost tripled the payouts on this plan and kept the price the same. So it's probably one of the most comprehensive critical illness plans that I've seen. And basically it covers you for a list of 10 major health events. So if you have any history of like heart problems, heart disease, things like that in the family, diabetes, it's kind of a no-brainer. But even if you don't, so much of this is environmental, and a lot of this stuff could relate to accidents. So you'll see here the 10 major health events. Comas, heart attack, stroke, paralysis, end-stage renal failure, cardiac arrest, major third-degree burns, coronary artery bypass surgery, and major human organ transplants. So unlike just some lump sum policies that pay once, this pays a huge lump sum upon diagnosis of any of those events and then benefits throughout every single stage of treatment. So the lump sum starts off at $25,000. So it starts off at $25,000 and it grows in value every single year. That will get triggered upon diagnosis of any of those events. And from there, subsequent occurrences like heart attacks, strokes, they're typically going to come in waves. So any subsequent occurrences is going to pay $12,500. Then it follows at every stage. So you get money back towards rehabilitation, physical therapy, speech therapy, home health care, daily hospitalization, transportation, lodging benefits. So unlike like a lot of the other Aflac policies, covers at every single stage. Now, where it sets itself apart, it does come with heart surgical benefits as well. That's definitely worth mentioning. But it comes with a built-in ICU package. Now, the ICU package here is going to pay $800 a day for the first week in ICU, and then it's going to pay $1,300 a day for the second week in ICU. Now, the cool thing about this is that it can be applied to anything that, even if they're not related to those events. So let's say you're in a car accident. You have the accident, the short-term disability, you have this, and you go in ICU. All three of those policies would actually pay out in that instance. So Aflac doesn't coordinate any kind of benefits, just so you know, and this ICU benefit can be used and applied universally, even if it doesn't relate to those critical events. Couple of really key things about this. It is age banded. So the rates on here, you do lock them in at a certain age, but once you get it at that rate, it's going to stay that same rate forever as well. The rationale, I mean, obviously, the older you get, the more prone you are to those types of things. And also, there are a substantial amount of health questions with this one too, which I basically would just send to you, or we'll go over them on the phone. So this is kind of strongly advised if you are in good health and you can get access to this. It's good to lock it in place because there may be some point where, you know, if you have diabetes or something like that, it may be more difficult to get this type of policy. So finally, not finally, we have one more before that. So the hospital policy. So we also have a hospital policy. If you are planning on having children, this can also be used. I sometimes put this with short-term disability because it basically pays out on quite a broad level for confinements in hospital. So it pays a lump sum upon confinement in hospital, and those could range anywhere from $500 up to $2,000, which would basically get triggered if you are confined for longer than 18 hours. So this policy, it's broader coverage than some of the rest. So really any accidents, sickness, pregnancies that lead to you being confined, you can have it pay that lump sum. And a lot of people like this because it kind of slots in with a lot of the kind of deductibles that you have. Maybe you have a $500 deductible on your health insurance plan. You can have it pay $1,000. We'll offset that, and you get another $500 to spend over. If you're planning on pregnancy as well, your disability plan is only covering about 60% of your gross income. So you could have it pay an extra $1,000, $1,500 upon confinement in hospital as well. So this can be structured in a lot of ways. It's got some optional riders for physicians' visits, MRIs, CTs, CAT scans. That's the extended benefit rider. And then also there's a rider that pays out for surgeries and daily confinement in hospital and ICU. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. If you want any kind of quotes or a more thorough walkthrough of this policy and the pricing, please let me know and I'll be happy to go through that with you. And then finally, we do have life insurance. Everyone's going to die at some point. And the number one reason why people don't have life insurance is mainly because they're not offered it. So at Aflac, we do whole life and we do term life. We can pay anywhere from $20,000 to a beneficiary up to $500,000, depending on your age. And the difference between whole life and term life is that term you have for a specific amount of years and then it expires. But a lot of people like it because you can actually lock in a very, very low rate. For someone under the age of 45, it costs you a couple of bucks a week to get a $50,000 term policy. The good thing about Aflac's term life insurance, however, is that we will guarantee to renew it based on your age only at the time, not your health conditions. So other insurance companies, once you hit the end of that term, they're going to raise your rate so high you can't afford it, or they'll just refuse to insure you altogether. Maybe you have, God forbid, cancer or something terminal. So with Aflac, we will guarantee to renew that at your age, at the age at the time, not your health conditions, which is a pretty huge thing. The other road you can go down is a whole life policy. So whole life is basically going to be a lot more expensive, but you have it until you pass. So you'll be 60 years old paying exactly that same rate. And it also builds cash value as well. So that was it in summary. Again, please reach out. I mean, even for the free service, I can get that added on the phone relatively quickly. That's the free telemedicine. It will give you 24-hour access to a physician from your phone, $25 a copay per visit, only charged if you use the service. Then we've got the accident plan, 24-hour coverage on the job, off the job, 24 hours a day for you and the family. Get hurt doing anything plan, okay? So any injuries, small to major. Your disability insurance, that covers up to 60% of your paycheck for any accident, sickness, or maternity leave off the job. So anything outside of work. The cancer, throughout every single stage of a cancer diagnosis. The critical illness plan for those 10 major health events, the comas, the heart attacks, with a big lump sum. The hospital policy for those hospital confinements and offsetting those deductibles, that lump sum on a broader level, and then also that life insurance. So again, my contact number, 702-358-6609. Just to reiterate, I just simply sign you up for whatever you're interested in, no banking information or anything like that. And I can send this directly to you to sign. So please reach out. You need any quotes? Again, it was Lawrence from Aflac, and I look forward to hearing back from you. Thank you.